Good morning, afternoon, evening, or whenever you may be tuning in, friends. Happy Sunday. Today's sort of style is a little different because I am at church. I'll be preaching this morning, so I figured I'd just hop on and give y'all a little something so we don't miss out on a day of our program. Today I'm just reading an excerpt from Contemplating the Cross by Trisha Rhodes. It's a 40-day pilgrimage of prayer, and today is day 9, Questioned. Trisha invites us to engage in quiet reflection on our personal journey to the cross thus far. Where has God spoken to us in the quietness of our spirit? Though it is a sad journey at times, what gifts of joy has focusing on Jesus' final days brought to us? Worship the living Lord, who gave himself for us, as we think on these things. Ephesians 5:2 says, "Walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God like a pleasant aroma, a joyful offering to his Father." Isaiah 53:7 says, "He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth, like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before his shearers. So he did not open his mouth." The Roman centurion issues an official order to arrest Jesus of Nazareth as the soldiers slip a rope over his head. Relieved priests hasten home to gather the high court. Jesus studies the faces that surround him. Does anyone look at him? Really look at him? Do they notice the tenderness in his eyes or the lines of sorrow etched on their face? Someone pulls the rope, plunging Jesus forward. The fateful trip down Mount Olivet has begun. Only 100 feet below, mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters sleep off their Passover meal in peace, unaware of the catastrophic events to come. The cumbersome group reaches Jerusalem quickly, taking care to keep their prisoner obscured from pre-dawn worshippers. Down dark and empty streets, soldiers push and pull at the Christ, caring nothing for his welfare, like a lamb that is led to the slaughter. After a while, they reach the palatial residence of the Roman governor. From daunting towers, guards observe the process as it stops outside the gate. The soldiers, tired from the long night, await orders to return to their barracks. For a while, it seems like everyone has forgotten Jesus. He gazes at the incredible architecture of Castle Antonia, knowing that it was built to protect the temple he will soon be accused of plotting to destroy. Does his heart grieve for the form of religion the impressive edifice now represents? For the rules and regulations that have replaced relationship with the living God in the hearts of his chosen people? Voices rise as leaders of various groups argue heatedly about what should happen next. The priests demand that they turn Jesus over, assuring them that their own court is gathering even now. After a while, the priests and temple guards reach two great palaces standing side by side. They pause, unsure what to do. One palace belongs to Caiaphas, their leader, whose orders they now follow, but before that sits the home of Annas, his father-in-law. Everyone knows that Annas is the most powerful Jew in all of Judea. Though no longer the official chief priest, he continues to rule behind the scenes with an iron hand. With 5 sons, a grandson, and a son-in-law as high priests, his influence is far-reaching. What would their chief priest emeritus think if he saw them leading the procession past his home? At that moment, Annas appears on his bedroom balcony, beckoning them to bring the prisoner into his audience chambers. Eager to watch the old master handle the situation, the religious leaders scramble for a spot within the palace walls. A hush fills the room as Annas enters. With beady eyes, he scans the crowd, stopping at the man he's heard so much about. He glares at Jesus as if sizing up an opponent before a fight while his mind races. Can this be the one? Can this be the revolutionary who has turned our city upside down? Whose angry outbursts in the temple cost me a day's profits. The thought of this financial loss irks Annas all over again, and he relishes ideas of what he could do to Jesus. If only I didn't have to abide by these ridiculous requirements of law. Everyone knows that trials must take place after dawn before a quorum of Sanhedrin. Finally, the old man breaks the strained silence. Where then are your followers, Jesus of Nazareth? What has happened to the men that you call disciples? Annas sneers and shakes his head. And what exactly do you teach? Come, enlighten me. Jesus ponders the question, and for the first time since his arrest, opens his mouth to speak. I have never once tried to hide what I teach. You know I've been in the temple and synagogues. Hundreds have heard me. Why don't you ask some of them what I have taught? A stinging crack fractures the uneasy tension in the room as one of the temple guards slaps Jesus. Is that the way you answered the high priest? Annas, secretly enjoying the show, says nothing. Jesus ignores the biting pain. This wound is one of many more to come, mild in comparison. He looks cautiously toward the guard. If what I have said is wrong, then be a witness against me. But if not, then why hurt me? Appalled at his audacity, the guard pulls back to strike again. This time, Annas stops him, silencing the murmuring crowd. Enough of this. Tighten his ropes and take him to Caiaphas. I have no more use for him. And he who came to set prisoners free is bound once again. The Prince of Peace has become a spectacle, an evening's entertainment for the religious elite. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, the carpenter stumbles along, closing the curtain on one more scene in this desperate drama. Trisha invites us to consider this journey from Gethsemane to Jerusalem. Think of being bound, pulled from a rope, as if you were a dog. Hear the jubilant cries of those who plotted his arrest. Feel the humiliation of being shoved in front of the chief priest. As you think on these things, remember that there was never a moment when Jesus was not choosing his own path. He came for this purpose. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a blessed Sunday, and I will see you all again tomorrow. Peace and love.